Every big transformation seems to start with a breaking point, a moment so devastating it just forces a complete rebirth. Today, we're diving into a story just like that. Raylene Belanger's incredible journey from the absolute chaos of addiction to a life filled with purpose, a life she built from the ashes of her lowest moment. And right from the get-go, Raylene's intention is crystal clear. This is not some polished fairy tale. It's a raw, unfiltered look at struggle and what it really takes to recover. And it's in that honesty, in the messy reality, that we find the real lessons. So where did it all begin? Let's get into it. Section 1, the breaking point. This takes us right into the heart of the descent, the chaos that made change not just an option, but an absolute necessity for survival. Imagine this. For decades, Raylene's life was just a whirlwind of intense emotions and scattered thoughts that she just couldn't get a handle on. Without knowing she had conditions like ADHD and bipolar 1, she did what so many do. She tried to self-medicate. And that started a really dangerous 2-decade-long cycle. Yeah, this wasn't some sudden fall from grace. It was a slow 20-year descent. It all started with just experimenting at 13, but it spiraled into meth addiction and bouncing in and out of the justice system. And the crazy part, the crucial mental health diagnoses didn't even come until her early 30s. By 2018, she was right at the edge of total collapse. And then, the breaking point arrived. The sound of glass shattering, the absolute chaos of a SWAT raid, that single moment of terror and humiliation sparked a life-altering realization. She could not survive this way any longer. It just wasn't possible. While sitting in jail after that raid, she made a huge decision to surrender, to just stop fighting. She chose to enter a 2-year treatment program, and in doing so, she totally reframed what many of us see as weakness into what she calls the bravest thing a person can possibly do. Okay, so that decision to surrender was the turning point. But, how do you even begin to rebuild after decades of chaos? Section 2, A Blueprint for Healing, shows us the exact framework she used to put her life back together, from the inside out. Her recovery was built on this 3-part framework, and it went so far beyond just stopping drug use. This was a holistic path to first heal the body, then the heart, and finally to awaken the spirit. The whole journey had to start with the body. Raylene knew that her physical self was literally the vessel that had carried years of trauma and addiction. So, through detox and focusing on nutrition, she started to build that foundational strength she needed to even begin the deeper emotional work. So after the body came the heart. And this was the really painful part, facing everything she had been running from. It all started with acceptance, not approving of what happened, but just stopping the fight against reality. And from there, she worked on forgiveness, for herself and for others, not because they deserved it, but because she deserved to be at peace. With her body and heart healing, the final piece of the foundation just clicked into place, a spiritual awakening. And this wasn't about organized religion at all. It was found in really simple practices: gratitude, spending time in nature, and just a growing trust in something bigger than herself. And that shift in perspective changed everything, taking her from just surviving to actually seeing the beauty in her own resilience. Okay, so healing the past is one massive hurdle. But building a future? That's a whole other challenge. Section 3 explores how Raylene went from recovery to rediscovery, creating a brand new mission by turning her greatest pain into her ultimate purpose. Who am I without the chaos? After 2 decades that were defined by addiction and just pure survival, this question became the central challenge of her new life. Answering it marked that critical shift from just healing the past to consciously building a brand new future. And the internal transformation was just profound. All that energy that used to be consumed by managing pain, shame, and just trying to survive, it was now redirected. It was channeled into this new life of purpose, strength, and service to others. And then she had this incredibly powerful realization. Her past wasn't a liability. It was actually her greatest asset. The very experiences that had completely broken her now gave her this unique empathy to connect with other people who felt lost. Her story was no longer something to be ashamed of. It was the fuel for her mission. This leads us right to our final section, which reveals the philosophy that makes this entire transformation sustainable. It's a whole new mindset for living that accepts that the journey of healing is never really, truly finished. Progress, not perfection. That became her guiding mantra. The pressure to be perfect had once completely paralyzed her. But now she understood that real growth isn't about getting to some flawless state. It's about the messy, courageous act of just moving forward, one day at a time. Her journey leaves us with these powerful, hard-won principles. Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about freedom for you. Gratitude literally rewires how you see the world. And this core idea that your past doesn't define you, but it refines you, well, that turns our biggest struggles into our greatest strengths. And ultimately, the goal isn't to become someone entirely new. Transformation is really the process of remembering who you truly are, the person who's been buried under all those layers of pain and fear. It's a return to your authentic self. And the final message is one of just profound hope. It completely reframes how we look at failure, and it leaves us with a really powerful question. What if your breaking point isn't the end of your story, but the very place where it truly begins?